This is Ryan Elliott for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. We're in London, head of the Jdnxtgen show, Thursday night at York Hall. With me, Frank Smith. Frank, you're a busy man at the minute. How's things?
Yeah, very good. Looking forward to a big end to the year. We've got this and Phoenix on Friday. Unfortunately, I can't make it to Phoenix in time. I have looked at the flights, but no, it's a great end to what's been an exciting year and a great year for not just matchroom boxing, but boxing as a whole, I feel.
Let's just start with the main event before we talk about all things boxing. Riakporhe Massey, British title on the line. Obviously, Jack Massey was meant to face Lawrence Coley earlier in the year, had his injury frustrations. Riakporhe's got some great momentum. Top fight for Sky Television, should I say, and for the fans as well.
Yeah, it's a great top of the bill, and as I said in there, it'll be interesting. Obviously, Jack Massey's had a period of time out now with his injury. Gained a lot of experience in the gym, a lot of sparring, a lot of training, and as you say, Richard has had a great year. Some great wins this year, and I think it's going to be a top quality fight, and it's big for the two of them moving into 2020 for some big opportunities.
Is the winner of this fight on Thursday, now that Coley's sort of moved up to world level? Is this the domestic top dog?
Yeah, I think this is number one in the domestic level now, with Coley going into for the vacant WBO title now. Yeah.
With Lawrence Coley, it looks like he's going to be moving in line for the WBO title shot against Glowacki. Could you give us any sort of update on that, when we can expect to see him?
Yeah, I think obviously the IBF that's been called recently, so the IBF soon will work through negotiations, possible purse bids if you can't do a deal, etc. So that's probably something we can see in, I'd guess, around April time next year. Big fight though, really big fight, and it's good for Lawrence, at such an early stage of his career to be in that position.
Elsewhere with this, Bill, who else catches the eye, Frank? Luther Clay, someone here at Boxing Social we've had our eyes on for a couple of years. We always enjoy watching fight. Who are you looking forward to seeing on this, Bill?
Yeah, very much. I'll be honest, I don't know too much about Luther Clay and Freddie Hewitt. It's a fight we've worked with LCS on to get on the show, but I think it's from top to bottom, it's a great card. You've got some of the young debutants on there. You've got Dante Dixon, who isn't actually a debutant. He's had one fight in October. That sprung up on me. I'm looking forward to Franklin, his heavyweight debut. Malik, who is close with AJ, his debut. Nadeem as well, who trains with Ricky Hatton, makes his debut. So some good talent coming through, and a good way to end the year. And then the likes of Craig Richards on the card, Kieran Conway. It's a good night. It's going to be exciting.
Just wanted to touch on a new signing, Frank. Kash Farouk. It's someone I spoke to Eddie about when we were in Liverpool on the back of the McGregor fight. If it was someone I'm looking, I believe Eddie took me up on that. I'll be knocking on the door for my cut later. Talk to me about that signing. An exciting young fighter. Yeah,
very exciting young fighter, and some big opportunities with him there. And obviously a big one is to try and do that rematch as well against McGregor. So very exciting. Looking forward to working with him. I think he'll fight probably March, April time, his first fight with us. So good to have him on as part of the team.
Think we can expect that rematch in Scotland in 2020 at some point?
I hope so. It's a big fight, and hopefully we can get work with MTK to make that happen. It was a great fight the first time around, and I think at some point in 2020 it would be a great fight to do again.
Just want to move to the lightweight division, Frank. The WBC lightweight belt is a bit of a definitely not. A bit of a merry-go-round at the minute in the lightweight division with the WBC belt. Yeah. Devin Haney, after his surgery, is now champion in recess, as I understand it. We're going to get Fortuna Campbell ordered for the WBC title. As far as you're aware, what is going on with all of that? It seems to be a chaotic belt at the minute, the WBC lightweight title. Yeah,
I'm not sure. I think it's a strange decision because, it's not like Haney's got a real long-term injury. He's out. He's had some surgery. He'll be back. He only boxed in November. He'll be back, I think, in the middle of the year. It's interesting because some fighters they don't do it with, some they do, and this is one where they got the franchise champion now with Lomachenko. You've got the recess champion in recess with Haney. You got the interim champion between Fortuna and Campbell, as you say. So yeah, a bit confusing, and that's probably what's confusing for the fans as well. But it's what it is.
So can we expect you to put Fortuna Campbell on some point in 2020?
Yeah, that's another one that we'll try and do a deal. If not, we'll go to purse bids. But it's another fight. Obviously, Campbell, coming off the back of a great fight with Lomachenko, showed that he deserves to be at that level. So it's a big opportunity for Luke as well. So in some ways, it's good for Luke to have that opportunity now. But it's obviously confusing from a fight fan's perspective as to what's going on with it all.
I just wanted to get your final reflections, Frank, on the Ruiz-Joshua build. It's been just over a week now. I know it's an event that, not just throughout the fight week, but in the build-up as well, that you took a great amount of pride in. How do you reflect upon that whole event in general?
Yeah, no, it was a great. I think it was a great night to see something. I remember going there in August. It was August 17th. I put the picture up of it the other day. It was literally sand and rubble. And I remember thinking, even I was thinking, I mean, this is a tough task. You know, we work on events all around the world and see what it takes to put an event together. That was literally building something from the ground up. You know, amazing. It was an amazing thing to be a part of, and an amazing night that will go down in history of the sport, I think, for years to come. And it was a great team of people to work with, and obviously a big thanks as well to our team. You know, they all put in a lot of work to make that happen. But we're lucky enough to be in a business where we get to see the results of the work we put in. A lot of businesses you don't get that. We get to see from start to finish the work we all put in. So, no, a bit of a proud night for myself and a lot of people on our team.
You got ambitions to go back?
I thought you were just going to say if I got ambitions. Definitely. I think it's an exciting place. You know, they're doing a lot of exciting stuff out there, not just in sport, not just in boxing, but sport, music, entertainment, culture, everything. So, you know, it's great to see what they're making happen there. You know, it's an exciting place to be, and I think we'll definitely look to go back there. And I think everyone who was there will say what a great night it was. You know, from media to fans, etc. It was an unbelievable night and great to be a part of.
Obviously, Anthony stock's gone through the roof after avenging his loss, reclaiming the Unified Heavyweight Championship. He's now going to have this little bit of a backlog of mandatories, whether it be Usyk or Pulev. General consensus seems to be that in spring we're going to see the Pulev fight in England. Is that the most likely sort of fight for us to see next?
Yeah, I think the Pulev fight's most likely. Obviously, Usyk, the WBO mandatory as well. IBF called it first, so we have to. Well, you know, AJ wants to keep all the belts, as he said the other day. He wants to become undisputed champion. I think the goal is let's try and make the Pulev fight, then do the Usyk fight later in the year. Usyk can have another fight in the interim at heavyweight. So he's only had one fight against Witherspoon at heavyweight. So let's see how that plays out. But it's an exciting year or so ahead for the heavyweight division. You've obviously got Wilder Fury as well, which is talks about happening February 22nd. So yeah, interesting to see where it all falls.
You said that Anthony wants to keep all of the belts. People were sort of addressing theories of whether he might just bin one of them and let one go free, perhaps the WBO. There's even rumours that Usyk might fight for that in spring. Does that now mean that Usyk's next fight won't be for a vacant WBO belt, as to your understanding?
No, I think there's a lot of variation, a lot of variables in this whole thing that's happening. You know, in the last week or so. I think AJ, as he said, he wants to become the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. You know, he tweeted that himself earlier in the week. I think that was a message from himself personally, that he wants to be the undisputed champion. To do that, he needs to keep all the belts. That's the difficulty when you get to this stage when various organisations are calling their mandatories. But I think it will all play out in the next week or so, and we'll find out, you know, some more news as to what's going to happen exactly.
Coming towards the end of the year, Frank, Christmas coming up, and then obviously into the new year. How would you sum up your year with matchroom boxing?
I think, look, it's been an unbelievable year. We're very lucky to do something we love. 40 shows this year, 373 fights, 39 world title fights, 7 countries, 86 flights, 278 days in hotels. So it's been a tough year in terms of work-life balance, but we're lucky to be in a business where we have fun every week, and you know, with all of the tough times that are part of it, we get to travel the world and see new things, meet new people, and just have fun really. So it's been great year for matchroom boxing, great year for boxing as a whole, and long may it continue. We just want to keep building, keep growing, and as well, all of our team have done an unbelievable job all around the world. A team of around 30 now. They've all put a lot of effort into to ensure we deliver to the highest standards.
A couple more to go for yourselves up until Christmas now. Obviously on Friday we've got Chavez Jr. as well in the States. You mentioned you're not going to be able to make it. How do you see that fight playing out, and what do you expect to see from that show as well?
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting fight. You know, obviously Jacob's moving up from 160. It'd be great to see how he fights just with that extra bit of weight, because you know, as he got to the later stages of his career, obviously with every fighter it starts to become a bit tougher. So it'd be good to see with him, with that extra 8 pounds, how he reacts. Chavez, obviously a huge name, very experienced, been in some massive fights, and you can't write him off. So that's exciting, an exciting rest of the card as well. You got Martinez, Rosales, you got Hooker makes his return after his fight against Ramirez. You got Josh Kelly, Liam Smith, Danny Oyulusnov, a couple of our younger fighters as well. So very much looking forward to it. I'm actually quite upset. As much as I get on a lot of planes, I did look to try and make it out there, but I was going to land at about 6 p.m. and get out the airport for the main events. I thought, as much as I do like making trips, it would be a bit unnecessary on that one.
Final thing before I let you go, Frank, just wanted to get your thoughts on something away from Matchroom. We saw Tyson Fury and Ben Davison part ways over the last couple of days. He's now going to be working with Sugar Hill Steward, someone he's known since his days with Manny Steward and sort of working with the Kronk guys. What did you make of that going into the Wilder rematch, changing the team up?
Look, he's obviously made a decision for his own reason. He feels it's the right decision to make. None of us know the ins and outs, to be honest, of why he's done it or what would make him make that decision. He obviously feels that he can get something from another trainer, or maybe it wasn't working out, I don't know. But fair play to him, hopefully he goes in and gets the win.
Frank Smith, thank you as always. Speaking of Boxing Social, there's a kitchen behind us, I believe. The smell of food's killing me, so I'm going to call this quits so we can both go and eat. Thank you very much.
Thank you for all your support this year as well. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Frank.